Welcome back. This is the South African Morning. Now, as from midnight, you will pay almost 27 rand per litre for 95 unleaded petrol. Government announced the latest massive fuel price increase yesterday morning. Thandiwe Matibela from SA Tourism joins us to discuss how the sector will actually be affected. Thandiwe, good morning to you and thank you so much for your time. I mean, consumers right now reeling because already pockets are tight. They have to now deal with the fuel price increase. But how is the tourism sector faring with these price hikes?
Okay, thank you so much and good morning to your viewers. You know, in terms of the power cuts, fortunately, tourism experiences as well as products have actually got up backup systems. So the tourism experiences themselves are obviously not affected. But obviously the perception just around the power cuts really does affect South Africa, both domestically and globally. But when we come to fuel prices, that actually affects consumers right in their pockets. And obviously because travel is a non-essential expenditure for a lot of travelers, they tend to then cut back on that.
Yeah.
And also because then they need to obviously cater for more of the more immediate cost of living expenditures. This is how tourism is affected here in South Africa,
right,
as well as globally, of course.
When it comes to small business owners of tourism, businesses, I mean, what's their plan right now moving forward? Is funding one of them? Resources? What challenges could they potentially be facing right now?
Look, I think the challenges span across the different levels, actually, of businesses, because it really is around, how domestic travelers then actually respond. If you think about it, the more people have to pay money for more essential expenditure, then they tend to travel less and less, and obviously that affects all businesses.
And the long-term implications, I suppose, for tourism when it comes to price hikes, because the question is, how long will we see these fuel price increases for? Is it short-term? Is it long-term? What's the long-term strategy?
Indeed. The thing about it as well is that, travelers spend a lot of money on transport as well,
Yeah.
So in the long term, we tend to see the effect. Obviously, we are in communication with government and we hope that government can come through with some plans. I know that South Africans have also pleaded with government to see what can be done in the long term. And that is what we're hoping to do.
Yeah. And just talking about government, what intervention specifically would you like to see from, I suppose, even the Department of Tourism in I suppose, assisting yourselves as an association, as SA Tourism, but also small business owners?
Yeah, more than just the petrol price, there are other issues that we deal with that could actually really help in terms of boosting tourism. There's things like making sure that, the infrastructure is obviously quite well and that tourists are actually able to enjoy different tourism experiences. But more than just that, we know that domestic travelers are quite price sensitive. Obviously, we can see that with the price of petrol. So perhaps if we could also do a price discrimination mechanism where South Africans can get to actually enjoy South Africa at prices that are actually affordable for them. We know that come September, we celebrate Tourism Month.
Right.
And one of the things that we do as South African tourism is that we have what we call the Travel Week. And this year that will happen between the 5th and the 11th of September, where we actually give South Africans discounted packages and tourism experiences. We partner with the rest of the industry to do that so that people can actually tap into the different tourism experiences because we want South Africans to travel. We've got a beautiful country and it is their country and they really must enjoy it. And those are the mechanisms that we do. We obviously continue to partner with the different businesses as well as with government to make sure that South Africans can actually experience and they can access these beautiful products and experiences that other people from other parts of the world actually come here to enjoy.
Right. Thandiwe, I think that's a brilliant idea to give those discounted offers and vouchers to South Africans to explore their country locally. And I just wonder if anyone hasn't traveled in the past couple of years, obviously due to COVID, how have you fared as industry? Have you picked up since the pandemic first hit? Are you seeing more growth and more stability? Because we know that some small business owners had to close shop, unfortunately. But how would you gauge right now in terms of how SA Tourism is faring?
We're actually really growing and it is quite encouraging to see the growth. I mean, from a domestic tourism perspective, just in the month of April, we saw 2.2 million domestic holiday trips taken, and that's up about 128%, which is obviously very encouraging, And from an international perspective, for the month of April only, we saw about 162% increase between Jan and April 2020. 2021 compared to 2022. Obviously, these numbers are still very low when you compare them to pre-pandemic numbers. So we're at about 41% of the pre-pandemic numbers. But what I also just want to say from a domestic tourism perspective is that we want to encourage South Africans. You don't have to necessarily travel too far to enjoy your country. So start by exploring your neighborhood, start by taking short trips so that you can actually help boost the economy. It is a much needed injection into our economy that people actually travel. So we actually are happy that South Africans have actually heeded the call, and we know that people have been longing to travel. The travel restrictions made that kind of built up some pent-up demand, and we are really encouraged to see people taking up more travel.
One of the hashtags that's one of my favorites when it comes to tourism is hashtag staycation. So you just explore exactly your immediate surroundings and just book yourself in and treat yourself. But I appreciate you coming into the studio, Thandiwe Mathibela, of course, from SA Tourism Communication and Stakeholder Relations, joining us this morning, talking to us about the impact, obviously, of the fuel price hikes of COVID-19, but also promising that they have been seeing growth and encouraging all of us to, of course, explore our country.